Soon we will be hearing from a community leader and community hero, Wayne Besson, who will be exposing some of the lies of the ex-gay movement. But I don't want to talk about the ex-gays right now. I want to talk about the gays. Angela, whose Sistine Chapel not only gives the Catholic Church its greatest artistic praise to God, but it gives the Catholic Church its biggest money-making tourist attraction. When children sing America the Beautiful, they not only honor our country, but they honor the lesbian Catherine Lee Bates who wrote it. When gays got married back in 2004 in Massachusetts, we may have heard fireworks, but every 4th of July, everyone hears the 1812 Overture thanks to a gay man, Tchaikovsky. Literary and poetic greats Oscar Wilde and Gertrude Stein. The father of the modern computer and the cracker of the German Enigma code, Alan Turing. Local greats, the Reverend Peter J. Gomes of Harvard, a personal favorite, and national icon Rachel Maddow, who not only puts everything into perspective, but I'm told she's great to look at. And even modestly Perez Hilton. While we must condemn his sexist rants about Miss California as completely inappropriate and should stand up against that, we must applaud his asking a question heard round the world and standing up for all of us. And we have to fight hard every day against the lies, mistruths, and deception coming from the other side, especially from organizations like Exodus International.
Good timing, the bell. It was amazing for my partner Jamie and I to be driving up here, and we had to pass through Connecticut, which has marriage, and Massachusetts, which has marriage. Every time a love song came on, every time a great love song came on, I thought about popping the question. I finally did. I asked him Burger King or McDonald's. I chickened out. But it was still nice to know that one day we have the option in the United States to do that right now, and thank every one of you here for making that happen. We look to Massachusetts across the country for the leadership and the courage to move forward and set the bar so high. Thank you. I began dealing with this ex-gay issue while I worked at the Human Rights Campaign in 1998. That year, the religious right, 16 groups launched a $1 million ex-gay advertising campaign saying people could pray away the gay, with full-page ads in the New York Times and USA Today. Within a couple of years, one of the stars who was on the cover of Newsweek, I photographed in a gay bar. The second, Michael Johnson was caught meeting men on the internet and having sex with them. So their entire campaign collapsed. Yet, in spite of this failure, they continue to push this myth. In fact, they still sell the American Family Association a video called It's Not Gay with their ex-gay spokesperson, Michael Johnson, who's now living in a sex addiction facility in Kentucky. So much for honesty and integrity. That's just the tip of the iceberg. As many of you may have heard, the leaders, the original, some of the founders of Exodus International, Michael Bussey and Gary Cooper, left their wives to marry each other. The founder of Homosexuals Anonymous, Colin Cook, he was on the Phil Donahue show. He had to step down after giving nude massages to his clients. And in that spirit, when I was writing my book, Anything But Straight, I sent the best-looking guy I knew to one of these ex-gay meetings to see what would happen. It was 2 o'clock in the morning. He got a knock at the door, and a bunch of men came to his room and said they wanted to have a prayer hugging session with him that was non-sexual, because we all do that at 2 a.m. So this is really, it's quite tragic, but it's also quite sad that these people who are caught up in these ministries are in such denial. And it's not just them. This is dangerous because I, at my organization, and many of you have seen this as well, have to deal with the spouses that are victims. Because the people who go into these ministries are told that if they get married, it will help them on their journey to change. Then they get married, try to do everything their church tells them, and then later on this leads to divorce. These groups love to show you the wedding pictures. but they never show you the divorce papers that are the likely outcome of the marriages that are arranged in churches just like that. I started my organization in 2003 after George W. Bush invited ex-gay leaders from that church, Alan Chambers from Exodus, to the White House. That's right, the ex-gay leader went to the White House with the President of the United States of America. Why? Because they were trying to lobby on behalf of the Federal Marriage Amendment. These organizations claim they just want to help people, but this is really, at the heart of it, at the base of it, this is about politics, not people. They have aligned themselves with the hardcore factions of the extreme right, like Focus on the Family and the Traditional Values Coalition, not to try to change anyone, which is impossible, but to change laws that would protect people from discrimination. Now, the message itself is horrible. The message is very clear that there's no such thing as a healthy outcome for someone who's GLBT. It's the result of neglect, abuse, and bad parenting. That's the only way they say that you can turn out to be gay. They also crap. It is complete nonsense. And they call us, they have a television show that they show across the country called Pure Passion. And on the show they repeatedly call us sexually broken and perverse. Yet they claim they love us. That doesn't sound very loving to me.
So Wayne, I know you're going to speak tonight. Why'd you come up from New York besides that? What are the commitment?
Well, Exodus International, many people don't know, they're not just expanding in this country, but now they're going overseas.
Movement works hand in glove with the religious right. Exodus and the ex-gays are used to project a false front of compassion for religious political extremists who oppose equality and fairness for gays down the line.
The evidence is in. You cannot change sexual orientation through this type of therapy, and they know this as well. The American Psychological Association, as early as 1997, in its policy statement, Appropriate Therapeutic Responses to Sexual Orientation, requires the therapist not treat patients from the basis of discrimination, but rather use sound practice, evidence-based practice. Caitlin Ryan's recent study published in Pediatrics has drawn the link between the role of parental disapproval and then difficulties that children encounter because of that disapproval. In addition, I'm seeing new research that's drawing similar conclusions about the link between discriminatory policies such as prohibiting legal recognition of same-sex relationships, or the failure to adequately protect lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender persons from hate crimes, with many of the difficulties that LGBT persons face in society. And again, we've seen recently with the 2 suicides of youth, how strongly internalized those policies and these messages of hate can affect particularly sensitive individuals. At the Unity Conference in North Carolina, I listened to Peterson Toscano describe 20 years that he spent seeking reparative therapy. He'd been to many of the over 105 programs listed by the ex-gay ministries. Many of those programs actually admitted that they couldn't actually change homosexual orientation. They really just wanted to stop homosexual behavior. What they really are doing is reinforcing stereotypical gender roles. I encourage those of you who are practicing Christians to tell the progressive Christians to reclaim the church. The more we talk about how God loves LGBT people the same as everyone else, the more chance we have of breaking through the walls and giving some kids hope. Thank you and good luck today.
Gone to names, given their names and their addresses.
We don't need a cure! We don't need a cure! We don't need a cure! We weren't banging on the windows. We actually had